On this episode of ResiWeek, we talk post-pandemic home tech, the value of human interaction, and how integrators bridge the gap. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek episode 321, Do It Well.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by
Peerless AV, driving technology through innovation.
Welcome to this episode of ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matthew Scott for AVNation.tv, and this week I'm pleased to be joined by two of my good friends. First, we have Heather Sidorowicz. She is the president of Southtown AV. How you doing, sis?
I am doing well, my brother from another mother. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was telling Frank, who you're about to meet, a second ago, that I woke up, it was 5 degrees. We had Fahrenheit. We had snow falling, and my ski hill closed yesterday. So I'm good and bad all at the same time.
Yeah, I get that.
But I'm happy you're here. I'm also happy that Frank Santos is here. He's the director of training and product knowledge at Vanco. How you doing, Frank?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, minus the previous, sadness over my hill closing.
Yeah.
Because I like
now
to
you gotta
ski.
get a boat. You can look forward to boat season.
Well, if I get a boat, we could both sail in and.
We could meet in the middle.
Oh,
you guys would have to teach me because I know I don't sail nor ski, but I'd certainly like to do both.
Well,
I can teach you how to ski. I don't know if I could teach you how to sail. I think I could not get fully shipwrecked by sailing.
Don't get that.
Okay.
That's the bar we've got.
Maybe another tidbit. I can't swim either, so
It's not important. It's not important.
I'll take you up on the skiing.
Right.
The boating thing, I think we can pass.
As long as you got the life jacket, what else do you need? All right, let's kick this off with a story that comes to us from Residential Tech Today. Quick bits: 10 experts predict when pandemic era home tech is going, or what pandemic era home tech. Oh gosh, these titles.
Say that 10 times fast, Matt.
No, I couldn't say it once fast. Is going to stay popular. Read through this. There's a bunch of good statements from a bunch of us.
Some really brilliant people commented.
There are, including yourself and
great.
Our friend Amanda. Yeah, humble brag there. I don't think I didn't notice it. Kat Wheeler's in there. David Wexler, Lance Anderson. There's a bunch of really good people in there talking about some of the stuff that has been really good through the pandemic and what's going to stay. One of the big things that pretty much everyone touched on in some way, shape, or form was network. So, Heather, let me start with you on this. If you're reading through this list and you see something that maybe you do, but you don't specialize in, you don't do it a lot, or something that you don't do at all, which one of the topics that was touched on here do you think is the most effective vertical to be really going after?
I think, the network, it's got to be the network, right? So if you don't do it, and that's okay. It's okay not to do it, but I really think that if you don't currently in your AV world, you should have a partner company that you work with. So find somebody else that does it well. If you don't do it well, know your magic power and play within it. And then what's not your magic power, go out and find partner companies that can assist you, and you can go in together and make lots of money and make people happy. I should have said that first. Make people happy first, and then also make lots of money.
I like it the first way. That's my approach to it. The making people happy part. What were you thinking? I'm going to add to that like if you don't do networking, what are you doing?
Yeah, but maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you're in the sunset piece, right? There's AV companies there's some sunset people out there who are maybe in the final years of doing their AV life, and maybe the network wasn't their jam at that point.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know who those people are. I'm sure they exist somewhere. Frank, reading through this, what's the one thing here that might drop off? Is there?
That's the thing.
Because I viewed a lot of the pandemic stuff as like, hey, we've got a boat load of money that we're not spending on a boat. So why don't we have a very nautical theme today. Why don't we put that into a golf simulator that we'll use for, a month and a half, and then all of a sudden go, yeah, we don't really care about golf.
Yeah.
What's going to drop off?
And that's the thing. I read through this. I don't know. It's tough to figure out what's going to drop off. Everything's growing, right? Outdoor AV, sound systems. Everything's growing. You walk into a Best Buy, and I did a couple of weeks ago, and there's no AV receivers.
Yeah.
I haven't remembered a time when AV receivers wanted this much, where they're sold out through distribution, through retail. Is that going to drop off? I don't know. It's a great question. Right now, we're in a very weird time, right, where we're coming out of the pandemic, and I think we'll find out this year. To be quite honest with you, things are sort of getting back to normal, and I only say that because I've gone out obviously the past 2 weeks, and at least around here in the Chicagoland area, it's sort of getting back to normal. It's really weird, and I find myself to be the only person wearing a mask, for instance. I'm like, okay, maybe I should take mine off and see what this is all about.
Don't let the peer pressure get to you. You do you.
And I've also planned 4 or 5 trips within the next 2 months. And again, previous to that, I was traveling all. So, it's a great question. I don't know the answer to it. Just reading through what everyone says here, we'll find out. We'll find golf simulators, maybe.
Let me kind of ask you this kind of follow up then. The one thing that I would almost argue is going to fall off is the network. Because, as Heather looks at me weird, the ISPs are getting so good.
That's true too. I mean, people will say, well, why? People have a very short memory span, right? So in the height of the pandemic, when they were at home working and doing a video conference at the same time that their kids were trying to stream Netflix, it was the first time that the network was tangible to our clients. Before that was invisible. So we were selling, $1,200, $1,500 systems that people before would have hung up on us. If the ISPs get better, and they have a short memory span and they go back to work, well, now we don't care so much about our kids and Netflix. So they may say, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. So it does depend.
But see, I don't know if... I don't think it's necessarily going to be client dependent. I think it's going to be ISP dependent. When they start rolling out Wi-Fi 6 to every stinking customer, or 5G from Verizon, and they're putting a 5G access point into your standard 2,000 square foot, 2,500 square foot home, do they need multiple access points?
Depends on who you have on the show.
Valid.
I agree with you, Matt. It can only get so fast. I attribute it to resolution, right? We're at 4K, we're at 8K now. How much better can it get? I mean, we're going to get to 16K, but then the human eye just can't process that information.
I'll tell you it's better.
Can't even see the difference between
4K. I'll tell you that they're gold pixels, and you really should buy it because it's so much better.
Well, we can make the same argument for Wi-Fi. There's pixie dust in there that makes your stuff faster.
Hey, thanks for watching the first segment of this week's episode. To catch the entire show, please click the link below or visit avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.